Hi, everybody. I am Evan Baumgartner, a board certified hypnotist at Elliott Bay Hypnosis in Seattle, Washington. And today I wanted to take some time and answer some of the top questions I get from people about hypnosis. So, all of your top questions are going to be answered today. And one of the things that people ask, and I mean, there's a lot of them, but one of the biggest questions is what is hypnosis exactly? And it's understandable that this comes up because there's so many myths and misconceptions around hypnosis, what it is, how it works, what it does, that it gets confusing to go, okay, what is it exactly? I mean, the name hypnosis, like the root is hypno, sleep. Hypnos, the god of sleep, and that's where it came from because it seemed like it was a form of sleep, like it was some sort of state of unconsciousness. And this isn't helped by us hypnotists who always say sleep and snap our fingers. But that's essentially what it looks like. The body is asleep, but the mind is awake and alert and listening to everything. You're never unconscious when you're in hypnosis. Hypnosis is actually a natural state of heightened focus and suggestibility. It's not sleep. You won't be unconscious. You will be fully aware of what's happening, but you're going to be more open to suggestions that align with your goals, with the changes that you've come to a hypnotist to make. Um, and because you're so focused and kind of locked in on that, and because you're open to suggestibility, that heightened focus, it's going to allow for a quicker change than what you would normally experience because your conscious mind is not getting in the way of the process. Your subconscious mind is getting on board with the changes you want to make and putting that new programming in. And it's able to do that because it's more focused on that and you're more open to suggestion. So it works because you want it to, right? It's a hypnotist is essentially feeding your suggestions back to you while you're in a state of heightened focus. So you're more aware of it and heightened suggestibility. So you're more open to it. And it bypasses the critical faculty and goes into the subconscious and takes root. So when I say it is a heightened state of focus and completely natural, you experience it naturally dozens of times a day without even realizing it. If you've ever been engrossed in a TV show or a movie or a book or something where you lose that peripheral vision and you're just locked in on something, and somebody might be to the side trying to get your attention, going, "Hey, hey," and you don't even know they're there until you snap back to reality and you go, "Oh, hey." That's hypnosis. That's essentially what it is. It's not relaxation, even though we say relax a lot. It's not sleep, even though we will say sleep a lot. Relaxation is a byproduct. And when we use our minds, our imagination, tell you to focus on relaxation and what that feels like, you're able to bring it up more because at its core, hypnosis is focus and imagination. So that leads us to a heightened state of suggestibility where we can make changes. So that's another question that follows that is, can anybody be hypnotized? And yeah, pretty much almost anybody. Most people can be hypnotized as long as you're of average intelligence, you can follow instructions, and most importantly, that you're open to it. I think if somebody was telling you to do something that there was absolutely no way you were going to do it, would you listen to them? Would you do that thing? Absolutely not. You're not going to do something that would be harmful or something that you really don't want to do. You're closed off to it. And if you don't want to be hypnotized and you're like, I'm not going to let you, I sit there and I could say anything, I can take you through everything. But if you are shut down, then it's not going to happen. Because hypnosis isn't something that I'm really doing to you. It's something that we do together, but it's not something that happens to you. It's something you allow yourself to experience. And this is why I do a consultation before I take somebody on as a client. You can't just book a session with me, because I feel like having a good rapport and understanding between what my client wants, and so they understand how I work and the way I approach things. As we have that understanding, we have a good rapport built between me, the hypnotist, and the client. And that helps people enter hypnosis easier. Um, if you don't resist, if you don't trust the process, if I haven't done a decent job kind of explaining this stuff to you, then the process is going to take longer if it happens at all. But it's important to remember that hypnosis is a two-way street. It's a collaborative process between you and your hypnotist. So, what exactly does hypnosis feel like? my, my desk. What does hypnosis feel like? And this is interesting because it can feel different for everyone. And for me, the longer I've done it, it feels different for me when I'm in hypnosis, depending. Um, like it doesn't feel the same as it did when I first started. Uh, as I just get used to it, and I can also enter trance faster now because I have more experience doing it. I understand it. I'm more used to it, so I can get there faster. But when it comes to like, what does it feel like? How I know, a lot of people describe it as kind of a state of calm focus. And again, it is like being absorbed in a book, in a movie, in a TV show that you're really enjoying, that you're really locked into. It's like that. Some people will feel very relaxed. I do believe relaxation is a byproduct of hypnosis. I think that we relax naturally as we enter into hypnosis. But then as a hypnotist, I'm also giving suggestions to get relaxed, feel deeper relaxed. So I'm amping up that relaxation because the better you feel, the more effective it's going to be, because hey, it's a pleasant experience. I want you to, if your focus is heightened, I want you focusing on something pleasant like relaxation. Um, some people might feel like nothing has changed. Some people will feel like they were just asleep, and that's normal, because again, it's called hypnosis because at first they thought it was a type of sleep, and only to discover it's not. Um, And as a hypnotist, it's like you want to make sure that your client isn't falling asleep. That's something that we watch out for, and there are signs. It always cracks me up. Like I always laugh at this when I have a session with a client and we make great changes and they're being very responsive in hypnosis. I'm seeing how their facial expressions are changing. Even like when they're sitting in the chair, their posture will be changing as the changes that we're there to make take place. I'll use what's called ideomotor signaling, where their subconscious will move their fingers to communicate with me. And I'll ask them questions, I'll get a response, and they are consciously not aware of any of this. And they'll be like, I think I fell asleep. It's like, no, you didn't. Your conscious mind just wandered off and wasn't there, but your subconscious was listening and was responding to everything. So it can feel like you're asleep. And especially when we go into that deep relaxation, that deep rest. And, if I give you a suggestion that when you emerge from hypnosis, you're going to feel energized and you're going to feel great and well rested, then yeah, you can feel like you just woke up from a terrific sleep. So, but the important thing isn't so much the specific feeling or what it feels like, but that the openness to the suggestions and is there and that the changes take place. So it's one of those, if you do self hypnosis, it will become very apparent to you when you've gone into trance. Um, and as a hypnotist, we have ways of checking this, of watching for it and seeing that. So, whatever the actual feeling is for you, that can differ. Differs from person to person. It can differ from time to time. Like I said, depending on how often you do it, how used you get to doing hypnosis, it changes, it evolves as we get better at it. I do view it as a skill. Um, Another thing that people ask a lot, will I lose control or reveal my deepest, darkest secrets when I'm in trance? Uh, no, you won't lose control. And he said, you are fully aware of things. You can come out of hypnosis. You can emerge at any time. You don't have to wait for me to count you up and say emerge from hypnosis. This is a defense mechanism. It meant to keep us safe because hypnosis is safe. But if you hear something absolutely ridiculous, like, and you will give me your PIN number, woo, you will go rob a bank and bring me all the money. If I was to give you that suggestion, uh, you wouldn't follow it because it'd just be too out there. If you did follow it, that would be the first time that ever happened again. But it's it's not going to happen. And you are completely capable of lying when you're in hypnosis. It's not a truth serum. So now, again, this goes back to having the rapport between you and your hypnotist. Like, obviously, depending on what we're there to accomplish, I don't want you lying to me, but I also don't plan on asking you questions that aren't relevant to what we need to make the changes that we're there to accomplish. And I tend to work content free, which means I don't need to know a lot. It's whatever you think I need to know that's important. There are some things just for safety purposes that I will need to know. But as far as like your secrets, anything like that, nope. That's all yours. You won't say or do anything that you wouldn't normally be comfortable with. Hypnosis doesn't override any sort of personal boundaries. It doesn't override any ethics. All we're really doing is we're aligning the subconscious mind, where our beliefs, our habits, the programs that we run are kept, with what our goals are in our conscious mind, our immediate point of focus, what we're using now. That you're using your conscious mind to listen to me, I'm using my conscious mind to speak to you. And if you have a goal that you can't seem to accomplish, well, there's a conflict between the conscious and subconscious mind. We just want to bring that into alignment. That's what we're doing with hypnosis, not divulging secrets or anything like that. What issues can hypnosis help with? There's a lot. And I am not going to dig into all of them because it can help with just about anything, depending on what the goals are. I specialize in helping people with anxiety, helping people regain their confidence, helping people stop smoking, and helping people with Bell's palsy. There's a wide range of issues that it helps with, from those I just mentioned. Overcoming phobias. Weight loss is another really popular one. Hypnosis can help with IBS. Hypnosis can help with sexual issues. The list goes on and on. It's also very effective to help people with chronic pain management. So, what hypnosis can help with is a massive, massive list of things. And there are people that specialize in a lot of different things out there, depending on what the issue is. Any hypnotist can help you with the main issues, right? Depending on where you're at. I only play mini golf. I've never played a full game of golf in my life, but I can still help you improve your golf game and help with sports performance. So that's another area that hypnosis works in. Instead of coming to me, you might want to go to somebody that really specializes in sports performance, because depending on where you're at and what you want to accomplish, they might be a better fit for you than me, helping you improve your golf game a little bit. They might be able to take you further because they specialize in it. But if you're having anxiety about going to the golf course, just being around people, being out there, then come to me. So, because I specialize in that anxiety, in that confidence part. So, and that's just what interests me. But I've helped people with a wide range of issues that fall outside of that. So, find a hypnotist, talk to them, find somebody that you like and that you trust and that makes you feel comfortable with the process, that you believe can help you achieve your goals, and work with that person, because that connection is, I think, one of the most important things when it comes to helping with any issue. Is you have to have that rapport. You have to be open to it. How long does it last? This is something I get asked a lot, usually by smoking clients. People be like, oh, yeah, I feel great. Is it going to go away in a week? No. The effects of hypnosis can be long lasting. especially if we do work to reinforce the changes that we've made. So when it comes to smoking, just don't smoke after. That's all you have to do to keep reinforcing that. And remember how good you feel. Because what we're really doing is, with the effects, with the changes, is we are restoring the freedom of choice. It's taking things back to a more neutral position when it comes with smoking. Yeah. You have a choice. There's nothing to stop you aside from it would be stupid and you just wasted a lot of money from going to a gas station buying a pack of cigarettes after you've quit smoking with hypnosis and have been doing good for a week. Yeah, you can go, oh, well, I'm going to celebrate and go do that. There's nothing to stop you doing that. But why would you want to? And that's where the reinforcement kind of comes in. If you stick to it, it's going to last. With anxiety, and not even anxiety, I'm going to use a more specific example. Phobias, fear of flying. If you know you're terrified of planes, and the thought of taking a trip somewhere and flying there just freaks you out, you go to a hypnotist, boom, we take that away. You're free of that phobia. But if you don't go test it, if you don't go and then get on a plane and see that it's gone, see how much easier it is for you now that that old phobia is gone, and actually put it to work, then there's nothing reinforcing the change that was made. And things could end up going back to the old pattern, especially if you wait 3 years to test it out. I always encourage my clients to do what they can to test it, step into that tension, not so much that it becomes overwhelming, but enough to see, oh, hey, this is way different than it used to be. Now I can handle more, and keep building from there. We're never done growing as people. And that's kind of like hypnosis. It gives us that base, but then we keep building on that. So if you think of it as a way of reprogramming our mind for new habits, new ways of doing things, new ways of thinking, then some changes are going to happen immediately and they're going to last. I do my smoking sessions now. Like, this is an intense process for people. I put them through on that. It's one session and it works. And I've had people approach me years later at the farmer's market, see me, and they go, "Oh, hey, I'm still smoke free. One session, I can't believe it. I was smoking 2 packs a day for 10 years." So that lasted. But this is also why, like, sometimes some issues we need more than one session. That's why I typically do packages for anxiety, where we're clearing away the old beliefs and then we're building up new ones, and we're reinforcing them as we go along, and we're making sure that we cleared all the old stuff out as well as we move along. So having that consistency and that reinforcement in order to fully integrate the changes is very important. I encourage all my clients to start doing a self-hypnosis practice as well, like 10-20 minutes a day at least. Just do that and keep reinforcing those changes and feeling better about it. And there's no reason that those changes won't be permanent if that's what you want. So now, another good question. And this is something I've found myself wondering about. quite a bit, especially early on when I first started learning hypnosis, was how exactly does it differ between meditation? Because there are a lot of similarities between hypnosis and between meditation. So now both of these have relaxation as a byproduct. And there's so many different types of meditations. Like when you're meditating, you can easily enter a trance state, same as you can with hypnosis. But they also serve different kind of purposes. And I view it as meditation. We want to just kind of empty out the mind. We want to quiet the mind and be present. And that's a huge thing. Like we need that for our changes to happen anyway. Like a lot of our problems go away when we get used to being in the present. But with hypnosis, as we're going into that state and we're focusing that, we're taking that focus, the heightened focus that we have, and we are directing the subconscious towards specific outcomes that we want to achieve, specific changes that we want to make. So there's more of a purpose and an intention behind it than simply quieting the mind and being present. So with hypnosis, the goal is change. And whether it's shifting our habits and beliefs, reprogramming our behaviors, our thought patterns, all of that, relaxation is just a byproduct of the hypnosis. But when we go into hypnosis, we are setting a goal, setting an intention to make a very specific change. Is hypnosis backed by science? Yes. Yes, it is. There is a lot of scientific evidence that supports the effectiveness of hypnosis for all sorts of different things. Like there's recovery from surgery. Hypnosis is very beneficial in healing from injuries, all of that. Pain management, anxiety reduction, breaking old habits, improving focus, improving performance, sports performance. There are a lot of studies out there. There is a lot of evidence that will show you hypnosis is absolutely real and it does work. I know scientific papers especially talk about how amazing hypnosis is for reducing stress. And it is. I think a lot of what we accomplish with hypnosis boils down to it blasting away a lot of stress that's surrounding whatever issue we're there to make. And then those resources are freed up. So the change just kind of happens. That's what I think, because hypnosis is not a medical intervention, regardless of what we're doing with it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm a hypnotherapist. I don't do what a therapist would do. I'm not interested in all that. I'm not interested in what a doctor does. What I do is I work with the emotions. So when we're working with an issue, we're working there's that thing, but then there's also the emotions around it. And as we change our relationship to that, then the issue tends to a lot of times resolve itself or just sort of change. And our body is free to do its thing with it. But yeah, scientifically, it works. but not a doctor, not medical intervention. For instance, even though there's a lot of papers out there that show how effective hypnosis is for managing chronic pain, I do not work with pain clients unless I have a referral from a doctor saying that it's safe, because we don't want to mask some sort of underlying issue that hasn't been examined, that blocking out those pain signals could be hiding something. So migraines is something hypnosis is very effective at helping with. You want to come to me, help you with migraines? Sure. I need a doctor's referral. I won't work with you without one, because I want to make sure that that migraine isn't a result of a brain tumor that requires a medical intervention. But if the doctor says, all right, yeah, it's migraines, go ahead. I'm giving the okay that you can use hypnosis to help with that. And I have a note from the doctor saying this is okay, then I'm more than happy to help you get rid of those migraines. So that is where the science is, and there's always more research being done, and like the evidence they have is completely solid. So especially when hypnosis is used with multiple interventions approaches to things. Do I need to believe in hypnosis for it to work? It's not necessary to believe in it, but I do think that the belief and the expectation that it will work, the mindset, really does matter. There's plenty of evidence out there, so there's no reason for you not to believe in it. But again, when there's an issue that we've struggled with for a long time, like the way I struggled with anxiety before I found hypnosis, the way a lot of my clients have struggled with issues before they came to me. Usually when you go to a hypnotist, it's because nothing else has worked and you don't know what to do. So you're throwing a bit of caution to the wind and being like, I'm going to try this. And when we've dealt with something for a long time and nothing else has worked, it's very easy to be skeptical of anything else, especially something like hypnosis, which has so many sort of pop culture misconceptions around it. It's understandable. And I had a client that was a skeptic, but knew it was real, knew hypnosis was real, had no experience with the hypnotherapy part, but they'd seen a stage hypnosis show and thought it was hilarious. It was like the funniest thing they'd ever seen. So when they had an issue that they wanted to work on, they came to me, and it absolutely changed everything for them in ways that really surprised them above and beyond, what our goals were. So having the right mindset and the willingness to engage with it, and again, a lot of this comes back to the rapport you have with your hypnotist, to follow the instructions, to trust, to engage in a collaborative process, is when hypnosis works best. If you come in with extreme skepticism, like, oh, this is BS, it's not going to do anything, and you have like this mindset of just being completely closed off to it, then yeah, you're going to block out the suggestions. Like I said, the same thing as like, oh, give me your PIN number. You wouldn't do that. So if your mindset is, this isn't going to work, this is BS, I'm not trying it. I don't want to listen to it, whatever ridiculous things this guy has to say, then you're going to be blocking everything out. You're not even going to get into that. You're completely not in a state of heightened suggestibility. You're using all your energy to block everything out. So in that case, it won't work. But if you're open to it, if you have an open mind to it, then it will work. If you believe in it, even better, knowing that this works. And so it's not uncommon for people to have doubts. That's absolutely natural. I get it. I had doubts the first time I tried hypnosis too. But again, I needed something. And then when I saw how effective it was, how things changed for me after, I'm like, okay, this is actually the real deal. And once we let go of those kind of unnecessary barriers that we put up out of whatever reason, some people will feel embarrassed about going to a hypnotist, like it's some sort of magic thing. I get that. But once we put our pride aside, let go of it, and be like, look, I want to change this issue and I need some help to do it. And I'm going into this with an open mind. You're going to be amazed at how effective it is and how much it helps. So even if you're not completely a believer in hypnosis, once you get those changes, you absolutely will be a true believer. Can hypnosis help me remember my past lives or recover repressed memories? Now, just gonna shift around because this is a big one. So, hypnosis can be used to access memories and recall things. There's a form of forensic hypnosis. Now, it's not really done anymore in, like, hypnosis isn't used in court cases because of how memory works, how unreliable memory can be, because our memory isn't a perfect record of events. But there's a famous case where some robbers hijacked a school bus, and like they had their getaway car, and the bus driver remembered like the license plate. He could only remember like a few letters, digits of it, so it was incomplete. But he went into hypnosis. They brought a hypnotist in and got the rest of the plate. Now, that easily could have just been the first whatever other three numbers, letters that popped into his mind. They had to do the work to the actual investigative work to find, okay, now we have this license plate. Is this a thing? Okay, yeah, this car matches the description. And then they actually did the police work, the detective work, and they were able to find the guys and arrest them. And that was a huge win for hypnosis too, as like, because that was really an impressive thing. So we can access memories with it, but memory is very malleable. And this is why I prefer to work content free and prefer not to use regression techniques, because what comes up may or may not be real. And that's something that's very important to me for my clients to understand. We could, anytime we access a memory, our emotions are influencing it. We can have a happy memory, but if we're in a bad mood and we look at it, we can find all sorts of negative things that were going on in our life around that, and it's still a sad memory. You know, the good memory now has this tinge of sadness around it, kind of thing. So we influence everything based on emotion. And, you know, you think about how easy it is to misremember something. People talk about Mandela effects all the time, which I think that's just a case of misremembering. You know, there's tends to be logical explanations for those. Berenstain Bears. Well, I thought it was Bernstein Bears. Yeah, people said Bernstein Bears because Berenstain sounds stupid. Like we knew that's what it was, but it looked weird. It didn't sound good, so we just changed it to Bernstein. That was what happened. That's that Mandela effect. But then we forget about it. And like a false memory is so easy. We experience these all the time. Anytime we misremember something, like I thought I was wearing a green shirt. Turns out I was wearing a blue shirt that day. Saw that on the video, but I could have sworn I was wearing a green shirt. We're just misremembering, but usually it's tiny things. So it doesn't make any difference to us. When we are working on with regressions in hypnosis, and whether that's an age regression or past lives, whatever comes up isn't necessarily real. As with if there's a specific thing that we are regressing to that we know about, then we can still be making up details around that. You know, there's a blurry thing here. You might have like something that absolutely stands out in your memory in childhood, but I bet you can't remember what happened like an hour after that, what that time frame is like, or even like what you had for breakfast that morning. A lot of people can't even remember what they had for breakfast this morning, you know, a week ago. You know, it's that sort of thing that we need to be very aware of. The what we're pulling up isn't necessarily fact. And if we are working on issues, I mean, like, it's really about changing our perceptions and the emotional charge that is attached to that than it is factual total recall of a thing. Again, hypnotists, we work with the emotions surrounding that, your perceptions of things, not the actual thing. So some people can find things like past life regressions or age regressions very helpful. And I think you can get a lot of personal insight from those. And I think with past life regressions, whether it's real or not, it absolutely can benefit people. Like I choose not to work with regressions unless like I have to, because that's just my personal belief. I know I can help people make changes in their lives without having to do a regression to anything. I can work content free on that. Sometimes that might be what's best for the client. Sometimes, you know, And there's nothing wrong with that, because they are still very effective techniques, ways to get the changes. So I'm not saying they're not effective. They absolutely are effective. And I just don't like the idea personally of people walking away from it and thinking that this is a factual, objective thing without being able to prove that in some way. So that kind of calls up a bit of just my ethics when it comes to hypnosis. But past life regressions can be fun, and it can give you insights. And sometimes that's a way our subconscious needs to communicate information to us. So, absolutely nothing wrong with it. I just wouldn't bet anything on the accuracy of it, because there's no way of knowing. And last big question, is hypnosis safe? And yes, it is completely safe. So, like I said at the start of this video, it is a natural state of focused attention, heightened focus, and suggestibility. We enter it naturally multiple times a day, every day. And it's just like staring out the window, daydreaming, and everything kind of falling away around you. That's hypnosis. You're engrossed in a book, TV show, a movie. That's hypnosis. Have you ever been driving down the road and all of a sudden you kind of snap out of things and, oh, here's my exit? That's a very common form called highway hypnosis. You're still conscious and paying attention to everything, but your conscious mind was just kind of wandering around. So that's hypnosis. It's perfectly safe. You're always in control. You can, like I said, you can come out of hypnosis anytime that you want. You can't be forced to do anything against your will that goes against your ethics, against your morals. You can't get stuck in hypnosis. That's an absolute myth as well, which I am still surprised how often I get asked that. But you can't get stuck in it. I mean, unless you consider being stuck the changes that you make lasting, then I mean, but that's kind of what you want. But even if you were to fall asleep in hypnosis, or nobody emerged you would eventually just come out of it. Like that's hypnosis. It's not mind control. And as long as you're working with a trained hypnotist that you trust, that's ethical, knows what they're doing, then you are perfectly safe. So, and yeah, working with a trained hypnotist, hypnosis is nothing but safe and beneficial for you. So, I hope this has addressed a lot of the common questions and concerns that people have. If I missed anything, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching, for sticking with me this long. I hope this has cleared up a lot of questions for you guys.